Please give a warm welcome to Kashawn Perkins.
Good afternoon, Whisters. How is everybody? So, customary for me, I like to get a sense of who I'm in the room with. Where are my career women, my working women? Yes, raise those hands high. Okay. Any of you guys already doing maybe entrepreneurship? Parallelpreneurship? Where are you? Anybody? All right. So I am a widow, of course. I'm a corporate leader and an inspirational speaker. But I didn't start there. I was fortunate enough to work alongside my husband Maurice for 10 years before he passed. And just to give you guys a little context, okay, he was the day and I was the night. So he would set the alarm clock and I do my best to trash it in the morning. Okay. And I knew that. He was kind of the motivation and the inspiration, and we worked. We were a duo. And then when I got the call that most of you probably had too, one that we don't want to receive, I got to watch my best friend, my mentor, and my mind leader take his last breath. And it was in those moments that in my grief, I was sobered with, man, what am I doing? What is happening? And then I gave myself time. I gave myself time to really start evaluating. And so, just like many of you that are working, you get the traditional grieving period. How many of you know what that is? Who can tell me? Right? And you're supposed to do what? Jump back up and get into it, right? Who was able to do that? Anybody? Nobody? Right. But we all had a choice. We had a choice to decide how we wanted to make that moment in time work for us. And I want to just share a little bit about how that moment worked for me. And I'm hoping that maybe you guys can resonate in your own lives and in your own stories as you begin to take the journey back into your careers as working women that are now missing just a huge chunk of yourself, right? And so for me, it looked like this, where I was used to riding into work with my husband, we're talking, kind of sharing what we expected the day to be like, doing a little gossiping too, right? Now I'm taking that drive by myself. And I'm thinking, boy, I just don't fit it. Anybody resonate with that? I just don't feel it. And what it did was, it brought up bitterness. It brought up frustration, anger, and I was projecting. So here I am, the leader. I'm in my organization, and I'm carrying grief, and I'm carrying widowhood, and I'm carrying motherhood, and now I'm projecting all the things, the feelings that I didn't know what to do with. But I didn't rush in to change it. And that's specifically why I wanted to mention that, because you may be in a state of that, where you're thinking, okay, everybody wants to know. They're looking. They're wanting to see, what are you going to do? How are you going to respond? Many of them may have questions. first thing that I want to encourage you to do is welcome people into your space. Welcome them in. Because chances are they're able to use something that you have. Well, they're not widows. But maybe they could use a lesson on resiliency. Because I'm going to tell you, it's no easy feat to fall down, dust yourself off, and stand tall and strong. Or maybe when, like for me, the boss is going through a crisis, doesn't quite know how to handle it, you get to walk in poised, assured, and reassured. These are just some tools that I want to give you to kind of embrace where you are. Is there anybody that may be considering a changing career, doing something different? Anybody? Oh, I see a couple. Great. So what does that look like? What that looks like is taking moments to, one, take care of yourself, and I believe that we've heard that theme kind of recurring today. My recommendation is that first 2 years, that is real. You take that moment and you stop and you reground yourself. And you really just kind of ask yourselves really key questions. What do I want? What's important to me? Why am I having this urge to make a shift, to change? And then, after you've asked yourself that, what is the value? What am I looking to create here? You see, each of you, like me, we all have something special. And we have a unique way that we could share it, right? We could share it either by joining in advocacy. We could share it by doing what I did and venturing and going into a new career. We'll get into that a little bit. But then we could also use it to just kind of lead and serve right where we are. And so I want you to know, I was really intentional about starting this conversation this way, because when everything has kind of shifted for you and moved for you, the first reaction tends to be is, let me hurry up and make something stabilize. And you find yourself making really knee-jerk reactions that you'll end up having to recover from somewhere in the process. So this talk, this conversation is just to kind of slow that down. Let's make it work for you and with you, the way that this process is designed to do. Okay? So as I said, for me, I worked with my husband, and I had always had the values of leading and serving and learning and making a difference. Those are things that were important to me. And then when he passed away, I found myself, I go back into the job, and the first thing that I did was I looked around. And I didn't see him. And everything that I thought, everything that I thought I knew, everything I thought I had, I felt like it was just taken away from me. It was non-existent. This organization that I had given the last 10 years to, it didn't feel like home. I felt like an outsider. And I thought to myself, okay, my whole life has been, something has got to make sense. And